Hi, dreamers. This is Coach Niquenya of Building Bridges Consulting, the founder and creator of the Designing the Dream Institute. I just wanted to stop through for a little while to share some information with you about the 3 tips I have for quick startup success. So, a lot of you have been inboxing me, calling me, or during our client sessions asking me about how to get started really quickly in your business with as minimal headache and upset and frustration as possible. And so I have 3 quick tips for you on how you can achieve quick startup success. And I just want to spend a few moments cluing you in on these 3 tips that I have observed over the 15 years that I've been working with my clients in transforming dreamers into successful entrepreneurs. So those 3 tips are retrain, recruit, and recharge. So that's 3 tips: retrain, recruit, and recharge. So the first tip: retrain. As an entrepreneur, especially when you're just starting off in your business and you're trying to communicate that to everyone around you, and typically the first people you share this with are the people who you love and care about and who you think will support you the most: friends and family, and sometimes fools. Friends, family, and fools, the 3 F's. Unfortunately, most of those people within that group, your inner circle, will not support your dream. And this isn't through any fault of their own. They're not trying to be mean. They still love you. They care about you, but they just don't get it. Entrepreneurship is an uncomfortable thing. It's one of those things that, unless you're on the journey yourself, it's just unfathomable. And that's because we're so caught up in the master plan, what I call the master plan, which you probably have heard referred to as the American dream. But the master plan is go to school, get good grades, graduate, get a job, make lots of money, get married, get a house with a white picket fence, have 2.5 kids and a dog. So that plan is just so unrealistic for most of us. It's just truly unrealistic. Most of us are not living in any sort of way, fashion, or form close to that master plan, to the American dream. A lot of us have mixed families. We go to school late. We maybe graduated high school and went to see the world. In our youth, we didn't get it just yet. We were still trying to find ourselves, and so we maybe took a few years off and went to school later, or we started one major and then went to another, or we're working in a job that has nothing to do with even what we went to college for. And then, like I said, there's mixed families. There's 2 husbands, 2 wives, stepmoms, stepbrothers. We're taking care of elder family members. They're now in the family unit. We're having 5 kids, 6 kids, no kids, adopted kids, lots of pets. So the American dream just doesn't seem to really fit with most people's idea of family. It's just not very close to reality. So that's the first thing. And so it's very difficult for the average person who's not on an entrepreneurial journey themselves, who is not a business owner, for them to even wrap their mind around you doing something outside of the master plan, even though they're probably not living the master plan themselves. I know it makes no sense whatsoever, but that's the truth of the matter. Most people just don't understand entrepreneurship because they're too busy trying to strive for the American dream, the master plan. And so it can be very difficult to share your goals, your vision, your mission, your dream with someone, a friend, a family member who isn't in business themselves, because they just won't understand it. And because they don't understand it, it can be difficult for them to wrap their mind around you playing a role that they're unfamiliar with. We all have roles. You have a role because you're a woman or a man, so based on your gender. Roles based on your career path, so you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, your mother, your dad, your sister or brother. All of these attributes that define you, these roles that define you, there's obligations that come with those roles. So you're required to take care of your children as a mom or a dad. You're required as a woman to do certain things based on societal norms. And so when you do things that step outside of your role, it could be very difficult for someone to understand the path that you're on and support that, because it's just too different, and people don't like change. They don't understand it. It's uncomfortable. It makes them feel out of sorts, and so it's just hard to picture you as something other than what the roles are that they've become accustomed to. So even if it's that you're a Christian, you're a churchgoer, so your church may have certain ideas about the way that you should be, and your entrepreneurial journey may step so far outside of what that role is that they know you as, that it's just very hard. And so the first step, again, the first tip I have for you is to retrain your friends and loved ones, all of those who are relying on you for the roles that you play, so that they can now respect you in your new role as an entrepreneur. And so you have to allow and forgive their ignorance, basically, of what you're trying to do, but command their respect for what you're trying to do. So the faster you can set boundaries around your time and your energy, the better. So if you look at your personal mission or your business mission, which should be fairly similar, if not one and the same, use your mission, your purpose, as your guideline to say no. So if something that you're asked or requested to do based on a role that you play in your life, if it does not align with your personal mission, your business mission, your vision, your goals, your purpose, then say no and leave it at that. You do not owe anyone an explanation. You don't have to spend very much time apologizing. You don't have to apologize at all, because that's your purpose, your mission. So they just have to understand that. And if they don't, oh well. It's very difficult to explain to someone who is not on that level what your vision is. If they don't see it, that's okay. It's really not your job to make them see. If they're blind to it, you don't have to dim your light just because your light's too bright for them. Buy them some shades, let them wear some sunglasses, and have them get over it. So you have to retrain them. Make sure you set boundaries and get used to saying no based on your personal mission. The second tip I have for you, that was retrain. The second tip is, again, to recruit. So one phenomenal way to get those around you to start respecting your boundaries and start accepting you in your new role is to recruit them onto your team. Now, you have to be pretty careful about this, because in order to recruit someone effectively, they have to at least somewhat understand your vision, or at least be behind you and support it and willing to see it out. And what I would do is recruit them based on their own mission and their goals. So if there's something that they know how to do or are really good at, or they love to do, something that they're passionate about, if that particular thing is something that you can use to help you to drive your business, and maybe it's something that you're maybe not so good at, then recruit them to do that thing. So for instance, I hate filing. I'm not a big fan of paperwork, and who is, right? There's not that many of us that are excited about filing paperwork. It's a boring job for most of us. But because I understand the value of recruiting, especially when you are a bootstrapping entrepreneur. And if you don't know what a bootstrapper is, that means you're basically pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps by investing in yourself, taking your own dollars out of pocket, your savings, your income, and investing in your business. So you're not getting funds from some angel investor or anything like that. You're not taking big loans. All the money is coming from your pockets. So you're pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. That's a bootstrapping entrepreneur. So if you're a bootstrapping entrepreneur, you can't afford to hire contractors or employees or pay an expert to do certain things in your business when you're just starting off. Not normally, unless you're independently wealthy already and you're starting a business just as another venture and hobby. But for most of us who that's not true for, if you're a bootstrapping entrepreneur and you're coming out of your own pocket, you can't afford to pay people to do these things. And definitely not what the minimum wage is, or at least a livable wage, or any of that. So I recruited my son, and he is 12 years old now. But when I initially recruited him, he was much younger. So I've been doing this for years. And I have him shred all of my documents that I don't want to touch. So I have two baskets set up in my office, one for shred, one for filing. And he knows his ABCs. It's one of the first things that they teach you in kindergarten, first, second grade. He knows how to read and all of that good stuff. He knows his numbers. And so for as long as he's been able to do those things, I've been having him file and shred. So he goes to the basket. He goes straight to the filing basket. He pulls out the things to file. He alphabetizes them and memorizes them, whatever he needs to do, and he puts them in their appropriate folder in my filing cabinet. And for the shredding folder, he goes and grabs whatever documents are in there, and he goes over to the shredder, and he has a great time shredding those documents. I don't have the time, energy, or the wherewithal to even stop to shred and file things. So this is a perfect opportunity for a child who enjoys that sort of thing. Typically, most kids just love to watch the paper go through the shredder and get cut up into a million pieces. And so it's a great opportunity for him to not only help me in my business for something that has to be done, I just don't really have the time or energy to put towards doing it, but it also gives him a sense of importance and belonging, and teaches him a very valuable lesson about entrepreneurship. And so, when you train them up young, they grow up to think entrepreneurial thoughts, which is a healthy thing for all of us. It's very important to understand developing alternative income streams and investing in yourself from a very early age. The earlier, the better. And so no age is too young to invest in your kids and have them thinking about business ownership, which really is the true secret sauce to success: business ownership and investing. Not just being self-employed, which there's the difference. Right, Robert Kiyosaki? He's a friend in my head. So you want to recruit. Other people that I recruit would be like college students, or even high schoolers who are savvy with computers. For those of you who may be baby boomers or just not so good with technology, if technology kind of frightens you, or it's just difficult for whatever reason it may be, or you don't always have access or the time. Usually it's about the time for me. Having a college student or a high school student who loves to be on the computer anyway, and they're typically learning some new tips, tricks, and tools that they can use technology-wise, have them apply that to helping you in your business. And so social media is a big one. For those of you who have no idea how to use social media and you're like frazzled about getting posts onto Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and whatever other social media channels are out there for you, having your college students or high school students or even your grammar school kids, because I mean my son and his cousins can do it all, have them post on your behalf, have them become your social media managers. By using them as your social media managers, that alleviates a task that definitely needs to be done in this day and age of everything living online, not just offline. That would help you out with your marketing efforts to reach a wider, expansive audience online. Um, so yeah, using your high schoolers, your college students, your grammar school students, whomever you know who enjoys being online and is willing to do this for you, have them become your social media managers. And that way, if you're not so technologically savvy, if you for whatever reason are afraid or intimidated by the computer and all the different marketing channels out there, then you can have them do that for you. And there's tools that you can use like Hootsuite, which allows you to um, give admin rights to um, those who you recruit, and they can queue up whatever post that they have researched and created for you, and then you're able to go and review them before they're posted. And so you're able to eyeball them, so you can make sure that they're communicating the message that you want to be communicated to your target audience. So absolutely recruit those around you. And also, you can create a sales force out of your spouse, your friends, other family members. Make sure that they all have an ample supply of your business cards. It just makes sense. They should be able to support you by at least sharing what you do with their networks. And they all have networks who um, include people that you're trying to target within your market. So absolutely, they should be sharing your business cards. My fiance keeps a whole pocket full of my business cards, and he's constantly sending people my way, even though he doesn't really totally get what I do. I find myself explaining it often, but he's supportive, even though he doesn't totally get it, and he's definitely not an entrepreneurial type, but he will share what I do with people. He keeps his ears open if anyone's trying to start a business or has a business. He says, "Hey, maybe you want to talk to my fiance," and he gives them my card. And if they ask him any questions, he says, "Well, she does let you schedule appointments, so you would be better off asking her those questions rather than me, because I just can't explain it as good as she could explain it." And so he does that for me. And I have quite a few people who are in my network who do that for me, who don't get what I do. And so that's a very easy way for those who love you and want to support you but don't get it. That's a very easy way for them to be able to support you, and you can recruit them into your sales team. Something else that you can do that adds an extra incentive for those who are acting as your sales force is to make them affiliates. It is really simple to create an affiliate program. There's a lot of resources out there, and if you need more information about how to do that, you're definitely welcome to schedule an appointment with me. My links for scheduling an appointment and talking with me are in um, the comments fields below this video, so definitely check that out if you need help with that. But there's a lot of resources out there to schedule affiliates, and so create an affiliate program and make your friends and loved ones affiliates, and then have them to drive business to your site or to you, or whatever the method is that you're creating leads. And as they generate leads, they're getting paid. And so that's just an extra incentive to have them to help you. So absolutely recruit your friends and family. So you want to, first of all, retrain them to get them to accept your new role, uh, and then to recruit them onto your team, make them your salespeople, give them new tasks based on what their passions and their purpose are. Use them in their gifts to help you to propel your business forward. So the third tip that I have for you is to recharge. So now this is something that we just don't do. As an entrepreneur, we're kind of all over the place. We're constantly thinking, we're constantly creating, we're constantly imagining, we're constantly dreaming, and we're just a flurry of activity. And sometimes the activity is not as productive as it could be. And part of that is because we don't take the time to recharge our batteries. We need to rest our minds, rest our spirits, and rest our voice. When I take what I call a purposeful pause, and that's time that I intentionally take to recharge my batteries, I find that when I get back to work, I am so much more creative, so much more innovative, and so much more productive and creative than I was before I took that time. And so if you find yourself in a space where you're all frazzled, um, feeling out of balance, out of sorts, unable to produce, unable to be creative, and just stuck, then maybe it's time for you to take a break. Taking a break is okay. It's necessary. It truly is a necessary thing as a business owner. Being an entrepreneur is a lot of mind work. You need to rest it in order to be as effective as you can. It's like what they say with mothers especially, well, women in general, not just mothers. I'll say we have a habit of assuming so many different roles and feeling obligated in those roles to perform at the top of our game. And so we're constantly being pulled in many different directions. But the truth of the matter is, if we do not take the time to take care of ourselves, how can we possibly take care of anyone else? If we have exhausted ourselves to the point of unproductivity, how can we possibly make time for the people and the things that we care about or feel obligated to take care of? So I really do want you to consider scheduling in time for yourself to take a purposeful pause. And when I say purposeful pause, my favorite thing now is to nap because I don't get to do that very often. Sleep is usually the number one thing that I'm deprived of. I stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, sometimes writing, thinking, writing, just have to create and get it out. But it's not healthy to lack so much sleep. And so I take naps regularly. So that's my purposeful pause. But a purposeful pause for you may be to read a book. Maybe you really enjoy reading and you don't get to do it that often, and so you just take a mind break to escape into the pages of your favorite writer. So that could be your purposeful pause. Or maybe it's to take a bath. Just relax in the bubbles and the warmth of the water. Or maybe it's to take a swim, or to go to the gym and exercise. Or maybe it's to meditate, or to do yoga. Or maybe it's to enjoy the biggest bowl of chocolate ice cream covered in whipped cream and topped with cherries that you can find. Whatever your purposeful pause is, just make sure that you take them regularly. You have to take the time to recharge. So that's it. 3 tips for quick startup success, quick business success. Number 1 is to retrain. Retrain those around you to understand your new role and set boundaries to say no to them and things that fall outside of your personal mission and vision. Number 2 is to recruit. Recruit your friends, your family, your loved ones onto your team to not only get them to buy into your vision, but to also accelerate your success faster because you're not spending time on things that you don't want to do, don't like to do, or not within your wherewithal to do, like filing and shredding. And number 3 is to recharge. Recharge your batteries by resting your mind, resting your spirit, and resting your voice. So Thank you for taking the time to listen. I hope you got a lot out of this video and that you can use these 3 tips for quick startup success to achieve quick startup success for your business. And if you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave them below. As always, you're welcome to join the Designing the Dream business training and accountability group online on Facebook. That link is also below. And if you want to request a free 30-minute strategy session with me to talk about your business goals and to see if we would be a good fit for coaching or any of my other business training and accountability programs, feel free to ask me that as well. So again, this is Coach Niquenya, President and CEO of Building Bridges Consulting, saying have a great day, and you cannot make profit without first having passion.